Welcome back, Tigerhawk sports fans, to another Tigerhawk sports podcast. We're back in the studio. Feels great to be back in our studio the second week in a row. Got a lot of story. So we'll kick it right off, Chris.
Yeah, we're gonna be doing a mock draft live. I love these mock drafts. I've been hammering them out all month. I start since March. Actually, I start since after the Super Bowl, so it keeps me busy doing these mock drafts.
It's always
yeah.
it's always football season on mine. We never let football season go by without doing some sort of mock draft or fantasy draft. Oh heck yeah, I did
Yeah,
two fantasy drafts last week. So
I'm sitting in my 6 to 9 classes at school, and there's no way I'm paying attention all 3 hours. So I'm sitting here doing PFF mock drafts all day. But this is going to be one of our first ones live. It's actually going to be our first. We did a couple live drafts, but you never actually got to see us doing it. So it's going to be fun. Before we get into the actual draft, why don't we talk about who you think the biggest sleeper of this draft is?
biggest sleeper of the draft. I don't know if you call him a sleeper, but I think he's a sleeper because I think he's riding
Let me put it this way: who's your biggest? Who's your guy in this draft?
It's pretty obvious. I think it's Sauce Gardner. I think he's
not sleep.
But he's riding up a lot of draft boards. I think when we first started talking about this, he wasn't riding up a lot of draft boards. So I think he's really coming up a lot of draft boards. And I think he wasn't the number one or even number two cornerback. So I think he is considered a sleeper because right now he's been not to be a sleeper, but coming into the draft, he was not supposed to be a top two cornerback, and he's proven himself. He came out and said he's gonna be the best player in the draft.
I agree, and that's part of his little character there. He's very confident, as he should be. He didn't let up a touchdown all of last year in college football. So I guess I would say my biggest sleeper is Quay Walker. Actually, no. Quay Walker is definitely one of my best prospects. He's rising up the draft boards because you got Devin Wood, who is projected to go in the first round. Nakobe Dean's projected to go in the first round. Quay Walker is also a linebacker from Georgia that a lot of people are taking second, third round. I think has the potential to be the best linebacker in this draft. But I'd say my biggest sleeper is a guy that I want the Cowboys to get so bad, Sam Williams, defensive end from Ole Miss. That is my biggest sleeper in this entire draft. If he falls to the Cowboys at 3, they're getting a first-round talent in the third round again.
They managed the thing with the Cowboys. They managed to find talent everywhere.
The reason Sam Williams is slipping a little bit is because not everybody thinks that he has the technique to be a good edge rusher. But you see it in college, he had 12.5 sacks last year at Ole Miss. But he also has some character issues, and as you see in the draft, the second you see a character issue from a guy, he's going to slip in the draft.
That doesn't really affect the Cowboys. Yeah, so then you refer to the Cowboys. They took Parsons in the first round last year, and look how that panned out. And he had a lot of character.
Micah Parsons slipped because of his character, and I understand that this guy had a couple problems off the field, but he can make it work in Dallas, and I definitely the talent's there, so I definitely hope he's a guy that Dallas gets. Who's a guy that you think is overrated right now? Who's someone that you see in the first round or second round that shouldn't be there?
You shouldn't be in the first or second round. You think you shouldn't be there?
Yeah. Some people, a guy that you think guys are too high on.
Oh, right, hands down, it's Kenny Pickett. I have no comment on Kenny Pickett.
I completely disagree with that.
I don't think Kenny Pickett is the guy that's gonna make
it. For what reason?
It's obvious. Kenny Pickett to me is not. He's not a QB that's gonna go in his team and get drafting back and be a franchise QB.
I don't know if any of these guys in the draft are. Malik Willis, I think.
Daniel Jones. You might allow Daniel Jones.
I completely disagree. I think you put Kenny Pickett behind a good veteran quarterback, he's going to be able to learn. He's going to have room to learn. And he's going to be an NFL quarterback. He has the tools to do it.
I don't believe it. I think he's but I don't think he's worth a top first round player.
None of these quarterbacks in the draft this year are NFL ready. No, they're all gonna, I think, need to take a rookie season off and just sit and watch.
Yeah, that
includes Malik Willis.
You don't draft Kenny Pickett in the first round.
Yes, you do.
I think it's second round pick.
Yes, you do.
You don't. I don't think he's a talent you draft in the first round. He's not a talented at a QB. You can put him-
I definitely think, especially teams that have 2 picks right now, you can take a chance and take a guy like Kenny Pickett, who knows how to win, because he led Pitt. He won a couple of games at Pitt. He's gritty. He's a great pocket passer. So I think Kenny Pickett has what it takes to win. But how about we get into this mock draft? Because I know we're gonna have some. So let me share my screen real quick.
Yeah, I mean, he could definitely. I always say prove me wrong, and it's just with Kenny Pickett, I just don't see him having that skill
Here we go.
in the NFL.
Here we go. We got PFF. I think this is a great platform right now.
Definitely a
My
great.
favorite one that I've used. Jacksonville Jaguars. Definitely an interesting one to me.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of them not take Hudson, and they have so Walker hop up on there.
That's what I'm saying.
So it's
I've
very
seen Trayvon Walker get up a lot.
And then also Ecom, definitely rose in a lot of draft boards up there. Surprisingly, Hamilton has rose a little bit. But I mean, I think it's obvious. I think the best pick for them is getting Hudson. So I'm gonna go with Hudson. What are your thoughts on it?
I'd agree with that one. Yeah.
What do you got for the same pick?
This one's interesting. I think this is where trade comes in. I do think the Lions trade. But it's tough. I don't know. The Lions kind of need everything. Besides running back, I'd say. I think their running back position is pretty set. And offensive line, quite honestly. I think their offensive line is pretty good. So
they definitely could get pieces on the line, but I feel like this is a deep enough O line that if they waited, because they do have a later round pick, and O line's going to fall to 32 or maybe in the lowly.
Okay, so let's just stick with the Lions right now. Where do you think they go with this pick?
They go 1 or 2 ways. I mean, they can go after a cornerback, or I mean, honestly, I think they can even go after a guy that I think it's like, I think a very impactful player, but reminds me a lot about Mika and Isaiah Simmons. That's Kyle Hamilton.
Kyle Hamilton had a tough pro day, so I don't think he's going to go 2. I don't think the safety position has as much value as it necessarily people think it does.
Well, that's why this is a sneaky pick, because I feel like they can make him move. That's going to shock a lot of people, because like Dan Campbell likes his grit and grind type.
I think regardless of who it is, who has this pick, I think it has to be Malik Willis. So
I like that pick. I mean, Lions could go QB. I mean, obviously Jerry Goff is their guy, but I think, like you said, the trade possibility could be with the Seahawks, and 1 or 2 reasons. The Seahawks want to trade him, get their guy. The Falcons are there, and so are the Panthers. You're looking for QBs. So I think that's
yeah, and you even saw the Saints yesterday. They snagged 2 picks now in this draft. They could package those and try and trade up. So do I think the Lions are going to trade down all the way to 16? Absolutely not. But they can package something together. The Texans, as you see, every position.
I mean, for the Texans, I mean, I can see them go 2 ways. I mean, obviously, Thibodeau is on the radar for them, I think. But I think one guy that I think they should go after. I'm not sure they might. It's Ecom. They definitely need to start building a line that's a foundation.
I definitely like Ecom. I think he's a good tackle, but I think they're gonna go Evan Neal, just because he's a guy that can play either side of the offensive line. And if the Laramie Tunsil trade doesn't work out, they can move him over to left tackle. So I definitely think Evan Neal is the best bet for this.
Yeah, well, he's up there too. I just feel like with the Texans, I think they're looking for an O-line, obviously. You see our first 3 there. It's Charles, Cross, Ecom, and Evan Neal. Obviously, Ecom's number 1. Neal is 2, and Cross is 3. That's the way I see it. But I'll go with Evan Neal. I think that's a solid pick for them. I like the idea of them having both sides of the ball.
Jets are interesting because it's really like, where do you want to get a receiver? If you have someone in mind, I consider taking them at 4. But if you look at the Giants at 5 and 7, I don't think they're taking a receiver in the first round. If you look at the Panthers at 6, they're not taking a receiver. Seahawks, as of right now, they're not taking a receiver because they still have DK. That could change. But either way, I think if you trade DK, they're getting a first-round pick, and they're not going to use it at 9.
The only team I see is the Falcons.
Falcons are the only team I could see going receiver at 8. And even if they do, you still got – I think it's – the top 3 are obviously James Williams, Chris Olave, Garrett Wilson. Falcons take one of them. Jets still have 2 to choose from.
And to be honest, if I'm going – I know we're moving ahead, but I think the best pick for both of them, I think Falcons would take a more player like Garrett Wilson. The best pick is for Olave to go to the Jets. That's in my opinion.
But here at 4, I see them going defense.
For
Robert
sure.
Saleh's team. I see them going defense.
Uh,
I really like Sauce Gardner on the Jets.
Yeah, I mean, I was gonna say that, or I don't think Trayvon Walker. I think Carolina is definitely falling in those draft boards. I think Trayvon Walker is definitely coming up. But if they get a cornerback, I think their defense is in good position to be good.
Yeah, I definitely think it's gonna be Sauce Gardner.
I would say Sauce Gardner for sure. I like that. I mean, I was a Giants maybe to get him at 5, but we'll take him there.
See 5 for the Giants. Here's where I think they make a huge pick. If they have 5 and Kayvon's there, I'm 100% taking Kayvon. I think Kayvon should be the number 1 pick.
We disagree.
I think he's the number 1 pick.
I think they Ecom.
I do not. I completely
disagree. They have to.
I disagree.
They're trying to build on a line.
They are.
They're
Either way, if you get Kayvon at 5, you're going to end up with either Ecom or Charles Cross at 7, most likely. Unless you trade out of it.
That's the thing I'm saying. I think they get Ecom. They trade out of that pick.
See, here's where I disagree. I think Kayvon is a very short pick. I think he's going to be a beast. So I would go Kayvon at 5.
The only thing I'm thinking, right? So for the Giants, if they're thinking they're getting Kayvon right now, then they want either Ecom, Charles Cross, something like that. But they trade back. They get out of that pick.
See, that's what I said on.
No one's going to trade up for a QB because they're trade the Falcons and Seahawks and grab a QB for them.
That's what I was saying on the last podcast. You don't need to rush this pick at all.
No.
There's no need to rush this pick.
I mean, I like both of the picks. I think both picks are impactful. Obviously, we need edge rusher. We need an O-line. We need a cornerback. We need a lot of different things for our team. Kayvon is the right pick, but I just still think that Ecom on the board, the Giants' mindset has to be O-line. But Burner the D-line is good. So I'll go Kayvon for right now because I think I have an idea where we're going. But I think it goes 1.5 dozen. So that pick of Kayvon right there, you have to understand that it can either go Kayvon, Ecom, or Charles Cross. And neither one would be a bad pick for Giants. Obviously, they're the really important aspects of their team.
Mm-hmm. And here at 6, here's where the Carolina Panthers come in. Do they get a quarterback? And Kenny Pickett or Matt Corral?
See, I don't. If anyone is going to be Kenny Pickett, but I don't know. Just don't see the Panthers getting a QB at this pick because I really don't. I really don't think that their mindset is get a QB at this.
So this is where I think it's here: Charles Cross or Ecom.
Yeah. If anyone, I think it would be Ecom. If Ecom falls to them, I don't think they have a chance not to pass up an Ecom.
Yeah.
And this is, to be honest, why I see a trade. I think the GM and the Dable and Sheehan is really smart. They know what the fuck they're doing. I see a trade back. A team that comes to mind. I'm trying to think what team that.
Here's where I think it gets interesting. I think if you give the Giants give up 7, right? Saints.
You passed them.
Saints. New Orleans Saints. 16, 19. You get 16, 19. You give the Saints, say, 81.
Yeah.
There you go. That could be a trade I could see.
I definitely see. I mean, I feel like the Saints wouldn't give
the Falcons because I think the Saints want to hop the Falcons and get that pick. So I think that's where Giants come into play. And then if they want that quarterback, Kenny Pickett's there. Sam Howell.
Not the Sam Howell.
Kenny Pickett is the best out of all.
I think my bust in the draft. I mean, obviously Kenny Pickett I just am not high on, but I think I'd be Sam Howell. I don't think Sam Howell is going to be a first round pick at all.
So Kenny Pickett. Kenny Pickett goes.
I'll be a really disappointed pick, but I like that a lot because that President Saints is a pocket passer, and Kenny Pickett is.
Mm-hmm. Oh, nope, they don't want to do that. 8.
I'm gonna go. I made a mistake before, and I think Garrett Wilson. I think the pick here they have to for Olave. I don't think there's a chance in mind if they don't get their QB and Kenny Pickett's not there. I think Olave should be the guy for them.
I think Jameson Williams is the best receiver out of all of them.
He is, but I just think Olave could be the move. Another guy that I see.
Atlanta, you got to remember, Atlanta does like their Alabama receivers. Julio Jones, Calvin Ridley.
Yeah, I mean, they did draft a receiver before, so this is very the pie pick for me. I mean, they can also take a different approach. They can take Trayvon Walker here, get another D lineman.
Mm-hmm. They can.
You know, I think I'm gonna go Trayvon Walker. What's your take on getting a lineman compared to receiver right now? So obviously they do need a receiver, but I'm not.
If they want to win any games, they got to go receiver. But I do think that their draft is deep enough and their pick is high enough that they can get a receiver in the second round.
Yeah, 100%.
That's why I'm not necessarily sure they're going to go 8 receiver. So, yeah, I'd say Trayvon Walker is a great pick here.
Yeah, I think it's a great pick for them.
9, the Seahawks.
Now, this is where it's really interesting for me, I think. Because I think there's 2 ways they can go. They can go work on that line and get a tackle on Charles Cross, who felt, or and go out there and get a guy like the guy I have to do, George. I'm gonna butcher his name.
I think they're going to use this pick to build the defense.
Yeah. To be honest, I'm not too sure on that because I think
their offense is good enough where they can win some games. Because right now, the Seahawks are in position to win the NFC West in any sort of way, regardless of who they get. So why not go ahead and draft a impact secondary player like Derek Stingley, or maybe even a linebacker, replace Bobby Wagner with Devin Lloyd.
I like that. I do think that
I don't think they go linebacker 2 years in a row.
A little bit too as well.
I don't think they go linebacker 2 years in a row. They got Jordan Brooks last year.
I think they go edge. I think they have to put that edge with George and Purdue George Carr.
And here's where I think is interesting. I think I see George Karlaftis is up there. Definitely had a good showing at the combine and his pro day. But I think the best edge player at this point is Jermaine Johnson. Went to Georgia.
I did forget about him, yes.
Went to Georgia his first couple of years, transferred in his grad year to Florida State, and had a pretty good year.
Yeah, I definitely like. I think he's definitely risen up a lot of draft boards. I will go. I like that. I like the pick a lot. It's a great pick for them.
The Jets again. Here's where it gets interesting. You got Ahmad Gardner at 4. Now do you go receiver when you have all your guys available? All the guys are available. No receivers have gone yet in the top 10. Jets are obviously in the market for a wide receiver, trying to go after DK and AJ Brown, but we've seen that the Titans and the Seahawks aren't necessarily going to move on those players. So here's where I think they get a receiver.
This is what I think is interesting.
Who do you think fits the best?
Sam?
Which receiver do you think fits the best for the Jets? I think Elijah Moore, small receiver in the slot, obviously. Same thing with Crowder. Or is Crowder's not even there anymore?
No, Crowder's not there. They have Davis. They have Moore. They have Berrios. That's
why I think a big guy like Garrett Wilson or Jameson Williams comes in. I think it's Garrett Wilson.
I'm going to think Garrett Wilson. But another guy I think they can go after is, they love building a defense up, and obviously they're looking at a receiver, but they haven't been really the people to jump on a receiver in the first. So I think the best thing for them, obviously, is to take up Devin Lloyd and get another linebacker and build that defense.
Even though they have CJ Mosley. They have CJ Mosley still.
But CJ Mosley is going to be gone. I honestly think they're going to trade CJ Mosley. I don't think CJ Mosley is a piece they're going to keep on their team. He's owed a lot of money. I think they can trade him at deadline.
I think this pick is 100% receiver. If the first one's defense.
I wouldn't 100%. Only 100%. I would say to me, my view is 60-40. Like I said, Robert Saleh is defensive minded. So he wants his guy. He wants to build a defense. They already have this. They have a solid offense. They have Elijah Moore. They have Corey Davis. And they can look to get a receiver in the second round because it's kind of a deep draft. But there are pieces they can get. I would think
the idea of them going after AJ Brown and DK Metcalf clearly shows that they want an impact receiver, 100%. They're not going to wait till the second round to do that. They're getting one at 10.
I think their view was the people on the market, why not try to trade for them with this draft stock they have? I don't disagree with the fact that
exactly. But they're not going to get one of those guys. Exactly. So to get AJ Brown and to get DK Metcalf, they're trading the 10th pick. That's my point. Either way, this 10th pick turns into a receiver.
I was either way. I mean, if I had to pick a receiver, I'm picking James Williams for the Jets. I think that's the best fit for them. But I realistically think that the Jets could go in the way here of going after the edge rusher from Purdue or going to Devin Lloyd from Utah. But if we're going to go receiver here, because I still think there's a chance of getting a receiver, I would say Jameson Williams.
I agree. I think from what I've understood from the reports, the Jets have been meeting with the Ohio State receivers, Garrett Wilson and Chris Olave. Haven't necessarily seen them show interest in Jameson Williams. So that's why I'm saying I think Elijah Moore is there, and James Williams is another guy that's going to take the top off of a defense. That's why Garrett Wilson more of the jump ball guy. That's where I see him fitting into the offense. So that's it. Here would be Garrett Wilson.
It's 1.5 dozen. I mean, you went to Garrett Wilson. I'll agree with that. We'll wild Garrett Wilson for the podcast. But yet again, understand that the Jets can take that. I really think the Jets have defensive approach to this, and they can take a defensive rabbit too.
Well, they got a defense at Ahmad Gardner.
But there's still so many ways that he wants to build that defense. And by taking Devin Lloyd and putting under CJ Mosley's wing, I think it's a great pick for them, to be honest. Coming from me.
At 11, the Commanders, they got Carson Wentz. So I don't think that quarterback's going to come into play yet. Offensive line, obviously, they do have to beef up. They want to protect Carson Wentz. He's a guy that doesn't have a great injury history. And if you want to go on the inside interior line, I think Tyler Linderbaum is a great.
That was exactly what I was going to say. I think it's a perfect pick for them.
The Vikings. They need an edge guy, I think. But they did just get Zadarius Smith, a linebacker. So Daniil Hunter also not back yet with the Vikings. But corner, we saw Patrick Peterson go back. And interior line. Here's what I think is interesting.
I think they go two options. Either they're going to go cornerback, and I don't think they're going to be Stingley. They do, or I think they go the guy to Purdue. And I'll keep saying his name, but I just think he's an impactful player enough where I've seen a lot of drop balls taken. But if they do go, they're going to take Stingley for sure.
Mm-hmm. I think Stingley would be a great pick. Mm-hmm. You know, they do have Patrick Peterson. Patrick Peterson's a great quarterback to learn from. So I could definitely see Derek Stingley, and he's already got his LSU boy there, Justin Jefferson. So definitely could see Stingley fitting in Minnesota.
It's interesting here. We talked about it a little bit last week, and this is where I can see a big trade coming in. And I think it can come from the Bears because the rest of these teams, I see, can really drop the receiver. The Ravens looking for a receiver. You have the Eagles that may get a receiver. I mean, the Giants, hell yeah, they may get a receiver. We don't know what they're doing. The Patriots could get a receiver coming up soon.
So what's the trade for the Bears? They get 13.
They'll get 13, and they're trading a second rounder. They're second round this year. I would say, maybe leaving a third rounder and a first round next year just to go and get the receiver this year. What's your thoughts on that?
So that's 13 for 1 and 39.
Maybe is that the first round next year? No, they need a first round next year too in that trade probably. Sorry?
The first rounder wasn't there.
Yeah. So I think that's a perfect trade for them. They go up there and they get Chris Olave.
I like that. Getting Chris Olave to pair with Justin Jefferson.
I think that's amazing. Chris Olave, Darnell Mooney, and then just pairing Justin Field. I think that's the great connection for them. You should need the Texans in college, I think. And now the Texans reiterate that they have draft stock.
Now we got the Ravens. Interesting. Do we put a wide receiver with Lamar Jackson? Or do we get their secondary?
That's what I was thinking. But I really think a guy that I'm really, really like, there's two people that I like here. And it's Trent McDuffie for them. Or it's the guy at Georgia, I believe it is, the D lineman.
Or Jordan Davis.
Jordan Davis, yeah. So I didn't go one both ways. So I'm not really sure. I'm going to see you taking my stuff.
I think a lot of people think they need a corner because of the injuries that they had. Marcus Peters, Marlon Humphrey, last year not playing that well. So I do think they have the corners. I could see them going interior D lineman though, wanting to stop the run, especially in the AFC North when you're going up against Najee Harris and Nick Chubb and Joe Mixon and all those guys. So I definitely see them going interior line. I like the Jordan Davis pick a lot. Eagles first pick. This is the trade that they, or no, they had this pick. The 18 was the one they got from New Orleans.
I think for me, this is an obvious pick. I think it has to be Devin Lloyd, the linebacker. I think he's a beast. I would say another pick that would make sense for them here. Devin Lloyd fell to them. I don't think they thought he'd fall this high, this low. So you got to go Devin Lloyd.
I don't know. Here's where I disagree again. Because the Eagles don't have a bad linebacker in Alex Singleton. Do you want to grab Devin Lloyd right now? When you have the opportunity to put together Devontae Smith, Jameson Williams, and Jalen Hurts. That's where I think it's interesting.
Yeah, but I don't think there's a receiver that does. With the way they're seeing it, they should the Giants, they should the Chargers. And the Eagles have the next pick again. The Giants could go after the linebacker, and so could the Chargers.
Chargers are going to go after a wide receiver.
Say one time?
Chargers are going to go after a wide receiver because they need that third guy to pair with Keenan Allen and Mike Williams. But I could see.
I wouldn't see them go James Williams, but anything they're going to have the Garrett Wilson.
I definitely could see Devin Lloyd here, though.
Yeah, I would say that I have the Chargers on the Garrett Wilson. I think the Giants pick right here.
Charles Cross. 100%.
That's where I disagree.
100%. They need their offensive lineman.
They do.
They got him on. They need the offensive lineman.
The only reason I said is, you know what? I'll take Charles Cross and I'll explain him next pick with the way our draft is set up. George Cross falls to them. I like that. Yeah, we'll do that. And then I'll explain to why I was thinking something else. So the Chargers do up. So this is what I was thinking. So the Chargers can go two ways here. They can go receiver, they can go tackle to boost up that on line for Herbert.
They got their defense in Khalil Mack and
yeah. I was saying receiver or tackle.
Tackle Bernard Raymond, Trevor Penning, or receiver James Williams. I think James Williams would be a great pick here for them.
But I was more thinking of them going Garrett Wilson. Do we sack Garrett Wilson? We
took Garrett Wilson.
Yeah, so I mean, obviously, yeah. It's either that or a tackle. If they go tackle, it's Trevor Penning. If not, it's Jameson Williams for sure.
We'll go James Williams here. All right. Now we have the Eagles again. We took Devin Lloyd with the last pick. Now do you go someone like Drake London?
But you really think they're in this need of a receiver and they're really looking to get to the receiver for them?
I don't, but I do think they want to see if Jalen Hurts is the guy. So they're going to try and surround him with as much as possible. I think on those top three receivers, I don't think that the receiver, not that we're taking, but a guy that I think the Eagles should be taking that can really show them that who. I could see them going Kyle Hamilton, to be completely honest with you.
I like that a lot. But that's what I was saying. So I would thought the Giants' sake that there was Trevor Penning they could have took. They could have took Bernard Raymond, and they would took Kyle Hamilton with that pick when they're trading back, knowing that he's going to fall. So I think
Kyle Hamilton's a great pick here for the Eagles.
I think it's a great pick. That is why I said that Kyle Hamilton should go to the Giants, where Charles Cross was.
I think Giants want to boost that offensive line as much as possible. They've been stuck on that offensive line for years.
They could have done that late. They already traded back in the draft. They upgraded defense.
Why would you wait to get Charles when you have the opportunity to get Charles Cross?
But the other guy, like Trevor Penning, they could have got. I think kind of unique play they could have gotten there as well.
I think they're going after offensive line regardless. The Giants here.
I think right now they go have a defense.
Interior D line, Devontae Wyatt.
They can do that, or I think another guy they look at because they missed out on Charles Gardner. I think they're a cornerback and get McDuffie. They're looking to get rid of James Bradbury, starting a young defense up. I think they can go McDuffie in.
I agree. Steelers at 20.
This is where it gets really interesting. This is where I don't want to see it happening. I just don't see that it should happen. Well, I can see him getting a QB here.
Matt Corral.
I could definitely see it. But I think the best pick for them would be getting them.
Their
See, but this
offensive line struggled too.
the Steelers always confuse me with their picks. So honestly, to me, I don't know who they could get at this pick.
I think Bernard Raymond. They're gonna get someone that could block for Najee.
We like that.
And then the Patriots got to replace their corner. J.C. Jackson, Stephon Gilmore, both gone. They're obviously going after one. That's where I think the best corner available comes in. I think it's Andrew Booth from
See,
Clemson.
I like that pick, but I also think the way they can go is David Ojabo too. I really think that
He's gonna fall. There's no shot.
But the Patriots have managed to make these weird picks, and they like these grit and grind type guys, and that's what Ojabo is.
Ojabo has a torn Achilles, not playing for a year.
Sam?
Ojabo has a torn Achilles, not playing for a year. It doesn't matter what Bill Belichick likes to do. You're not taking a first round pick on a guy that's not going to play for a whole year.
I see Bill Belichick make these weird moves. You've seen him make weird moves in the past. That's a weird move.
It just doesn't make any logical sense to take a guy with a torn Achilles in the first round.
Half the stuff that Bill Belichick does doesn't make freaking logical sense.
That's different. That's just.
So we'll go Andy Boucher though. But I do like another cornerback in the draft too. I think he's going to go somewhere.
22, the Packers. They want a guy that's going to take the top off the defense. That's Treylon Burks. That's Sky Moore. That's Christian Watson from North Dakota State. I've seen a lot of them liking Christian Watson in the first round.
Right,
I'll go with Christian Watson.
See, at this pick, I think they go with the guard and bolster up that line.
See, I thought that at first, but then I realized I always forget they lost Chandler Jones. If George Karlaftis falls this far, it'd be interesting to see if they replace Chandler Jones with George Karlaftis.
They should. He can't fall much farther than that, so we'll take that.
And here is my favorite pick in the whole draft.
Here's the pick. Kobe Dean. Pretty obvious.
Yes, Nakobe Dean and Micah Parsons would be a great fit together.
But this is my only thing against that.
I think it'll happen? No.
You said
that is why.
You said that the Jets taking Devin Lloyd would not make sense to CJ Mosley, but you're so high on getting the Kobe Dean.
But it's different. It's different. CJ Mosley plays primarily linebacker. You get Nakobe Dean, you can put him in coverage as a middle linebacker and Micah Parsons rushing the passer. I don't think it's going to happen, however. I don't think it's going to happen.
But I do like the pick, though. That was my only thing against him.
That's where I think they get Kenyon Green to fill their guard position.
Ooh, interesting. I would have. It's an interesting pick. I would have thought Kenyon Green would have fallen a little more.
Bills lost Cole Beasley. Got a slot guy. I do think they're going to sneak around and not get a receiver right now.
I don't think they're
I could see them getting Devontae Wyatt.
Yeah. Like that. This is my interesting pick here. Another one. I definitely like where the Titans have in the roster. So I really think the one thing they do need is a receiver. Obviously, pair of A.J. Brown. They got lost Julio. But then a guy they may go after Drake London.
They could. I can see that. Bucks. They need offensive line, interior. Zion Johnson, great pick for them. Replace that guard position.
But they definitely lost a lot. They lost a lot in their offense, so definitely need some positions there.
So I could definitely see Zion Johnson being the pick here. Packers, we got Christian Watson. Now I think they get their offensive line. I can see them going Trevor Penning.
Yeah, I think Trevor Penning or this is why I thought Kenny Green would fall to be honest, too. So
here we go. The Chiefs. They get their wide receiver, Sky Moore. They love him. 100% going to be one of them.
Yeah. So they're back. Then this is why I think they go after the cornerback from Florida,
Kyrie Elam.
Yeah. And this is why I think they go after that pick.
Bengals.
They do need a cornerback. Now, if they go after Bradbury, I don't think they go after that, and he's going to go after a D lineman. They're gonna bolster that D line for sure.
So D line. Um,
No,
I,
I was saying that for the Chiefs. The D line.
Bengals. Roger McCreary, good pick from Auburn to be a corner. I know they're going after a corner, maybe even Daxon Hill. I could definitely see them going with McCreary.
Yeah, I think they do need a cornerback. Obviously, they've had issues in the past.
Now here's where it gets interesting for the Lions. They're not a lot of people have them getting Matt Corral. I don't see that happening, especially if they still have 34, because the Jaguars aren't getting anyone at 33. And if they trade that pick away, it's gonna have to be a very.
Do you see any team trading back in at 32? I think the Lions would be willing to move this pick.
Not unless anyone is sold on like Matt Corral. That's the only way I see it. And I don't think anyone has the draft stock number 1 or would be that high on him to trade back in. So this is where I think we go into Kobe Dean.
I like that. I think that's an entire play for them, getting 2 big guys in the team in the draft.
Yep. So that's our first round.
All right, so let's just go over this. Obviously, we see our entire draft. Who is a pick that you really, really like, and a pick that you think is a good fit, but is iffy pick, like that you don't think is the right fit? What is the best player available for them?
The pick that I really like in this draft, it's tough. Honestly, I like Devontae Wyatt to the Bills. Having Ed Oliver, Von Miller, Devontae Wyatt on that defensive line would be very dominant. I like Jermaine Johnson on the Seahawks. I think he's a sleeper. Trayvon Walker at 8 to the Falcons. Definitely interesting. One that I was a little iffy on. Probably Drake London going to the Titans. Don't know if they're going to necessarily get someone with AJ Brown needing to be paid right now. Actually, kind of makes sense. Those would be my right now.
So I think my favorite pick is a trade we made. I know we talked a lot about it, but it's Chris Olave going to the Bears. Obviously, the Bears made a trade back, go out to Justin Fields, and what else would they do to then trade back in with the team, the Texans, who don't really know their plan yet. They still need these picks. They need a future, and they got a tackle, and more draft stock to get players. So I really love that pick. And one pick, to be honest, that like if I had to say that I'm a little iffy on, and it's just because I think that the Jets. I know they say Garrett Wilson. I do like Garrett Wilson a lot, but I just think the best fit for that would have been Williams for that team with the way that Wilson plays. But yeah, I think we had a great draft. I definitely like it. But that's a 3.0. I'll come back to you soon. New take. I'm excited. I mean, what is it? It's just 20 days away.
Yeah, it is.
It's going to be exciting. At 22, it's actually 22 days from today. It's going to be exciting. We're looking for your feedback. I mean, please send us your mock drafts. We'll do our best to review them, take a look at them, give us your thoughts, opinions on them. And obviously, if your mock draft is better than ours, maybe we'll do a feature on our show and see what you guys did, how you went about it.
Absolutely. I'm very excited for April 28th. Can't wait.
Yeah, it's going to be a great day. I always love that. One thing I love too is obviously a lot of people don't. I love the whole draft. For me, the first round, second, third round, I like sit down, I watch it full, I watch it through. Then the next day, just having my background on my TV, I just listen to it. Like I just have it there just to keep my mind like I see who goes, like, and it's cool to see who comes up and speaks.
See how many of your mock drafts you got right or wrong.
Yeah, that's another cool thing too. And we always do a live draft too. I think that's always cool to do a live draft, because you know how GMs are. Like, even all these analysts that come up with mock drafts, everything changes.
Right.
So just the way they think their team fits together.
Mhm.
But I will say one thing, not saying I know we know it on a lot. This draft, I think there's a lot of teams may be looking at trade. I think there's a lot of potential fits for a lot of trades.
That's exactly what I'm thinking with all the double picks and the multiple picks. I think teams are definitely going to look to trade.
Yeah, for sure. I think it's a great thing. But yeah, I think that we talked a lot about what was going on. Talked a lot about the draft. Any questions, concerns, reach back out to us. We'll get more detail with this for later. But don't forget to go check out Stat Hero. Use promo code Hawk, promo code Tigerhawk. Exclusive games, similar DraftKings. You can play your sports, and then wait football season. So we're going to be using Stat Hero all day, every single day with football season coming around. We used it in the past. We love it. Go check it
Absolutely.
out. With that, Tiger Sports out.